Our topic today is how to discover your full potential. So we're looking at, the definition of special terms, what potential is, and how to discover your potential. Potential means having or showing the capacity to develop into something in the future. That is potential. Having or showing the capacity to develop into something in the future. So here we can see that potential means the capacity to develop. When you have the ability, the capacity to develop into something else, probably into something bigger. But the point here is that there is a capacity, there is an ability, there is a strength in you. Number 2 definition of potential here says is the latent quality or ability that may be developed and lead to future success. Latent quality, the ability that may be developed and lead to future success. It's still talking about ability, quality, intent, something in you that is still in the raw stage. This thing needs to be developed. It needs to be given attention. You need to pay attention to this thing before it can be developed. You need to give time to that thing before that thing can be developed. The next definition of potential is existing but not yet developed. You see, this thing we are talking about is existing, is already in you, is already given, but it needs to be developed. You see, it needs to be manifested. It needs to be manifested. It is still hidden. This thing we are talking about is concealed. It is abandoned. It is neglected. It is not given attention. It is not in use yet. And what is this thing we are talking about? Potential. In the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 7, it says, "But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God, not of us." You see, highlighted, treasure in earthen vessels. That is potential. We have this treasure. There is this precious thing that we have, but it is in, the key word I want us to focus here also is not outside, it is inside. It is part of us. It is in us. We are the earthen vessel, and this treasure is in us. It's just like when you have a bottle of Coke in the fridge. The bottle of Coke is not in the fridge because of the bottle. The bottle of Coke is in the fridge because of the content it contains. So we are the container that contains God's intent. We are the container that contains God's intent. So the bottle contains Coca-Cola intent, which is the drink. That's why it's in the fridge. You see, the moment you drink the content, you can throw the bottle anywhere. You can even throw it in the bin. That's how I know that anyone that realizes their potential, death is too far from them. You can't die until you realize that potential, because you cannot be thrown away. God cannot let you go until you have realized your potentials. So potential here says it is the gifts, the talents, ideas, dreams, thoughts, books, companies, jobs, schools, estates, etc. in you haven't done yet. That is potential. I come again. They are the gifts, the talents, the ideas, the dreams, the thoughts, the books, the companies, the jobs, the schools, estates, etc. in you, you haven't manufactured yet, you haven't produced, you haven't achieved yet. That is potential. It is what you could do, you haven't done yet. Potential is how far you could go, you haven't gone yet. Now, I want to make a striking statement here. Anything you have done ceases to be your potential. It is called success. Anything you have achieved, anything you have received, anything you have done, if you have built a school, if you have built a company, it is no longer potential. It is called success. Anything you have achieved in life is no longer potential. Is what you can do, you haven't done yet. Potential are those companies you can build, you haven't built yet. Anything you have achieved, anything you have produced on earth is no longer potential. It is called success. Now, I have a problem. My problem is that success is the greatest enemy of potentials. Success is the greatest enemy of potential. And what do I mean by that? The moment you have achieved something, it has become a success. It's no longer potential. You are expected to leave what you have achieved behind and start looking up for what is inside, what is remaining inside. But most people, the moment they have achieved something, they tend to relax. They tend to celebrate. That is why I run into problem with some of my friends and people around me. Personally, I don't celebrate success. Tell me you have achieved this. Tell me you have done this. Tell me you have achieved this. I know you can. I can talk about it if you watch me, if you're my friend and you know me very well. While you were doing that thing, I may follow you step by step, keep pushing you. The moment you have done and achieved that thing, I am no longer interested. I'm not an enemy of success, no. But now I am thinking of what is the next thing for this man to achieve. What is the next step for him or her to do? Men of potentials don't celebrate success. Men that are pregnant, it's just like a pregnant woman. When a woman is pregnant, it's no longer after the children they have already. They are after what they are carrying. You see, they are restless. They are looking after what they are carrying. The moment they give birth to that baby, fine, that one is okay. They now, if the family wants again, they go for another one. So men of potential do not celebrate success. Men of potential, they press forward. You see, if you must be a man or woman of potential, then today you must make a covenant that you're not going to celebrate success. You are going to leave. Paul said, I leave everything behind and I press forward. So success is the greatest enemy. I want us to read through some scriptures one more to establish this treasure in earthen vessels. Let's read 1 Corinthians chapter 2, 7 to 16. It says, but we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, the hidden wisdom which God ordained before the ages for our glory. So there is a wisdom ordained from the foundation of the earth for our glory. The next verse says, but as it is written, eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love him. You see? So there is something that God has prepared for those that love him. It is called potentials. There are some things that eyes have not seen. There are some things that ears have not heard. These things are locked up in the inside of you. He said, but God has revealed them to us through his Spirit. For the Spirit searcheth all things, yes, the deep things of God. For what man knoweth the things of a man, except the spirit of the man which is in him? Even so, no one knoweth the things of God, except the Spirit of God. It is the Spirit of God that can search out these things that are in the inside of us. You see, you need the Spirit of God, because potential means all potent God. Praise God. So there is this treasure in earthen vessels, and is inside of you. It can be seen as a gift, it can be seen as a talent, it can be seen as something that you need to release, but you haven't released yet. So tonight, our focus is, how do I discover these potentials? How do I discover the potentials I have? Some of us, you may know them. Some of them, you may not know them, but they are in you. But after tonight, I assure you, you will begin to understand the potentials you have. Like I said, these are gifts, talents. Some of you have books inside of you. Some of you have books inside of you. You see? So we are going to look at how to discover your potentials, how to discover the books inside of me, how to discover the company inside of me, how to discover the estate inside of me, how to discover the mansions inside of me, how to discover the bank inside of me. The first step to discover this is to answer these 5 questions. I have 10 questions to ask you tonight. 10 questions. If you can answer these 10 questions and write them down. In fact, I'm going to give us an assignment. I want you to write down these 10 questions in a book and send them, email them to me. Write your name and email them to me. Then you will be qualified for the next stage. I think that the next topic on this potential is maximizing your potentials. Not next week, but it's a different thing. So let's start. How to discover your potentials. Number 1 question you must answer if you must discover your potentials is, who are you? Very important. A very big question. Who are you? Don't start telling me you're a doctor. Don't start telling me you are a taxi driver. Don't start telling me you are this, you are that. My question is, who are you? I'm going to help you to understand who you are. You know, they came to Jesus and asked Jesus, who are you? You know what he told them? He said, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. That's what Jesus told them. Jesus did not say, I am the Son of God. He did not say, I am the Savior. He said, I am the way, I am the life, I am the truth. They came to John the Baptist and they asked John the Baptist, who are you? You know what John the Baptist answered them? He said, I am the voice crying in the wilderness. He didn't say, I am John the Baptist. That's why I said, don't tell me you're a doctor. I'm not asking you what you read in school. No, what you read in school does not define you. You didn't hear that? What your title does not define you. I have seen people that after studying medicine, what happened? They ended up becoming teachers. So I'm not asking you what is your profession or what is your career. I'm asking you, who are you? It's just like when you ask me who am I will tell you I am called to capture potentials. I am called to capture potentials. That's who I am. So you need to answer this question. Who are you? And there are other things that will help you to understand who you are. The second question that may help you to understand who you are is, what can you do? What can you do? You see, for me, I can teach. You see, for me, I can do a lot of things. You know, I can lead people. I can disciple people. That is what I can do. I can spend time studying. You need to discover the things you can do as a person. Some of us, you know, when you're writing, you write very well. Yeah? We'll come to the advanced key. But let's answer these ones quickly. The third question is, why are you here? Why do you think you're here? For me, I know I'm here to lead men into their destinies and their purpose. I am not comfortable when men don't do what they are supposed to be doing in a place. I am not comfortable when men waste their time. I'm not happy when men don't succeed in life. That is my passion. I want to see men, I want to see people succeed. That is why I am here. The fourth question is, where do you come from? It's important that you answer this question, because understanding of where you come from will tell you that you are not just here for any reason, because you are here on a mission. Where do you come from? You came from somewhere. When you understand where you're coming from, then it will give you an idea that you're here to do something. For me, I know where I came from. In the book of Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, and that applies to every child of God, says, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. So that means that before you were born, you were in existence. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew you. Before thou comest forth out of the womb, I sanctified and ordained you a prophet unto the nations. So God saying that before you were born, you were in existence. So you were somewhere before you were sent here. You must understand that you are coming from somewhere and you're going somewhere. That is the last question. Where are you going? Do you have a destination? That is why in this place we talk about potential, we talk about purpose, and we talk about destiny. There is something you can do. You are coming from somewhere. You are here for a reason. That is your purpose. And you're going somewhere. That is your destiny. There is a place prepared for you. There is a land filled with milk and honey for you. You see, for the Israelites, their own destination was what? The land filled with honey, milk and honey. The promised land. You have your own promised land. You need to find it out. You need to discover it. Let's go to the advanced. Maybe we'll become more practical now. Advanced stage of these questions. That's the last 5 questions. The advanced stage says, what do you hate or enjoy doing? Very important question. What do you hate or enjoy doing? What do you hate? Because everything you hate is a clue to what you are sent to do. Everything that makes you uncomfortable, maybe about people or any area you find yourself, is a clue to what you have been sent to do. Do not neglect anything that you hate or that makes you uncomfortable, or anything that you enjoy doing. Anything you enjoy doing is a signpost to what you have been called to do in life. I put it this way. Anything you hate or enjoy doing is a direction to what you have been called to do in life. So sit down and don't just write down the questions. This week, you are going to sit down, take them one after the other. So you may discover that you hate 10 things about human beings. It's just like, personally, there is one thing I hate. That's one thing that irritates me in life. I hate lateness with passion. If I'm going for a meeting, I would like to be there 10 minutes before the meeting starts. I hate going for anything late. I hate lateness with passion. And I wish that everybody can be as early as myself. So what does that mean? It shows that I am a born leader. I am a born leader. I have leadership skills. I have leadership qualities. Because in every meeting, the leaders come first. Before those people that will attend the meeting are there, the leader will always be there first. So what you hate or enjoy is a sign, is a direction to what you can do. The next question is, what do you do that you don't get tired doing it? What do you do that you don't get tired doing it? That is another critical question you need to answer. There are some things when you're doing them, you don't get tired. Even when everybody is tired, even when everybody quits, you derive energy. The more you do that thing, the more strength comes upon you. But when others are doing it, they don't even have interest in it. But for you, you don't just have interest, you enjoy it. You don't just enjoy it, you gain strength from it. When others may quit, but you find reasons to remain. You find reasons to stay there. Don't neglect that thing. It's very important. It's a signpost to your potentials and your purpose in life. Next question. What do people say you are good at? There are certain attributes, there are certain qualities, there are certain talents, there are certain behaviors, there are certain intents that people must have told you. Do you know you're good at this? Do you know anytime you're singing, it's like my spirit is lifted? You are not even in any choir. But the moment you start singing, somebody somewhere will say, hey, I feel, elevated. Anytime I hear you singing, maybe even in the bathroom. Don't neglect that thing. Pay attention to that thing. Is your potential. Your potential is in that thing. And your purpose is in that thing. What would you like to change? What would you like to change? In people or in an environment? Anything that you want to bring change to, is a clue to your potential. Anything you would like to change in your environment, in the life of people, is a signpost to your purpose. Do not neglect them. Pay attention to them. And finally, on this question, what takes you to your optimum level? I love this one. What takes you to your optimum level? There are certain things when you're doing them, they take you feel best. I don't know how to put it, but you feel your best. It's like you're flying. There are certain things when you start doing them, it's like you're flying in the air, whereas you're here, but you have taken off in the spirit. Don't neglect that thing. Pay serious attention to that thing. It's a sign that your potential is there. There are people, when they are reading books, they can read books, and when they are reading books, even when you tell them to come and eat, something happened one day. I think I read in a book, Isaac Newton, when he was in the lab trying to manufacture a particular product. His wife brought his food and kept on his table. Served him his dinner, because his lab is in his house. His wife served him his dinner and kept it on the dining. He was still in the lab doing his work. After a very long time, the food became cold, because the wife was checking if he had eaten. He could not eat the food, or he has not eaten the food because he was still very busy in his lab. So the wife went and carried the food away. Mind you, when she dropped the food, she went and told him that she had kept his food on the dining table. So she went in. After he was not forthcoming and the food became cold, she went and carried the food and put it back in the microwave, so that anytime he's ready to eat, she will bring his food for him. So while she took away the food to go and keep in the fridge, he came out after some time. He came out, and when he looked at the table, he couldn't see the food. You know what he said? He said, "Oh, I have forgotten that I have eaten." You see, I have forgotten I have eaten. That was what he said. So there was food in what he was doing. He was operating, that thing he was doing has given him, food, has satisfied him, that he didn't even know if he had eaten anything or not. They came to Jesus. Jesus and his disciples were hungry. He sent his disciples out to go and buy food. When they went, a woman showed up and he began to preach. When his disciples came back, he said, he doesn't look like he's hungry. What happened? Has he eaten? The disciples came to Jesus and said, "Master, you sent us to buy food and now you're already preaching." You know what Jesus told them? They asked him, "Why have you eaten?" He said, "My food is to do the will of God and of him that sent me." So there is energy, there is food in doing what he was carrying is inside of him. So do not neglect anything that when you're doing it is like you're operating at your optimum level. It's like you're flying. You are so excited. Give attention to that. Next slide. And finally, on this note, let me show you the key to discovering your potential. Finally, the key to discovering your potential is to build your everyday life around your answers. Build your everyday life around your answers. That is the key to discover your potentials. Build your everyday life. All this, if you answer these 10 questions, begin to build your everyday life. Even if you discover you can sing, even when you're dressing your child for school, start singing for the child. You see, if you discover that you're a leader, you have leadership qualities, begin to lead your family. If it's time to pray, be the first person to show up. Start mobilizing everybody. Call everybody. Come, it's time to pray. You see, if you have a wife or you're a husband, and your wife and your husband, you have a leadership quality, you are the wife or the husband, it doesn't matter. Wake up early, dress up, get ready. Those things that that will delay your husband or your wife, that will make people to go late. You know what you do? Start getting them ready by yourself. So that when they wake up, they just jump into those things and you go. That is how to create the potentials in you. Build your life around all the answers you have today. Very importantly, if you can do this, your potentials will begin to show. You begin to understand what you have. You begin to understand the things you can do. You begin to understand how far you can go. You begin to understand the things that God has deposited inside of you. And as you do that, God will bless you in Jesus' name. Father, I thank you for your word that has gone forth. I thank you for your word that has gone forth right now. As people begin to answer these 10 questions, may their potentials be realized.